Hello YouTube, it's JP Dunphy, your BMW genius here at BMW Fort Washington. In today's video, I'm going to be going over what might be the perfect BMW electric car that's currently out by the brand. So with that, let's dive on in. The car I'm currently in is the i5 xDrive40. Now, obviously, this is not the car I'm actually talking about, but I want to drive this back to back to just prove a point. So, if you don't know, i5 xDrive40 is BMW's electric 5 Series, and their entry level for the 5 Series. There's no 35 version of this one, so it's no smaller battery like in the 4 Series. And what that means is this thing is pretty darn good, you know. Basically 335 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, rear-wheel drive only, and when I put my foot down, it moves. It's good. But for some people, they'll sit there and say, you know what? I really wish I had all-wheel drive and just a little bit more power. Why? Because, well, the 540 makes 375 horsepower and just under 400 pound-feet of torque. So that's quite the, power bump compared to this. So BMW fixed it. And they fixed it with this. Now, yes, at first glance, it's just a normal 540. This one does have the M Sports, but you can tell it's not an M60. Has the nice wheel option, which I personally love. Obviously, you can change that if you so desire. But overall, it's just a 5 Series. And even on the inside, it's standard 5 Series. Nice seats, all the goodies of the i5 that you would expect. And of course, as a caveat, I always have to say, but. The caveat of but comes at a simple thing. Most people don't see and understand, or maybe they do and they just forget. But when you add a front motor, that does two major things. One, obviously it adds power. So instead of 335 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, you have 389 horsepower, 435 pound-feet of torque. That's a massive jump and more torque than the xDrive and the 540 that is the gas motor. So all these are good things. But another massive benefit of this, it doesn't gain anything else. Like, it doesn't have integral active rear steering like the M60 does. So it doesn't have any of those other enhancements. But it has more regen. So to break that down super simply, obviously, rear motor is one thing, drives, add a second motor in the front, that gives you more power, but it also gives you more regen ability. So what that means is, instead of having maybe, I apologize I don't have the actual numbers on me, but instead of having, for instance, 118 kilowatts of regen at highway speeds, you might jump up to 195 kilowatts of regen, which means that you have better regen braking, one pedal driving, and that means you can get more into that battery pack more frequently, so it actually can increase your efficiency overall. Now, obviously, this comes at a slight weight disadvantage. I mean slight. I believe it's 200 pounds, if I remember correctly. I can double check that and put that in the description, or as a little sub bar in this while I'm editing the video. But either way, there's that. And the major benefit of this can only be experienced on the road. You put your foot down. Oh my God! Again, it's not M60 versions of power. You're obviously still underpowered compared to the M60. That's nearly 600 horsepower. So it's, 200 horsepower less than the M60. But overall, this is still beyond enough for the average driver. 0-60 comes in 5.2 seconds, which is nothing to slouch at. And it feels no different than the xDrive40. It's just as crisp, it feels perfect. And when it comes to the actual packaging of this, I think these seats are more comfortable. They have more just general comfort. They have better bolstering. They have more adjustability. And everything you get in here, it's basically a baby 7 Series for the mass public. And non-7 Series prices. So when you think of it as an overall package, I really think this is probably the best car that BMW makes. And then you add on to the fact things like I apologize, I'm actually looking over the camera right now, so that's why my eyes are slightly above you as I'm sitting here. But they charge at 205 kilowatts max peak, which of course is not 350 kilowatts, and it's on a 400 volt architecture. But that still means that this thing charges from 10 to 80% in 30 minutes. That may not seem like, or sorry, 28 minutes. That may not seem like a much of a jump, but you're comparing that to 195, which is the peak for other vehicles. Some other ones are now updated to 205 as well, but that means the car charges faster, which is good. If you're on a road trip, this is a fantastic car for that exact reason. So, you know, just something to think about and just really take into account. It's not that much more expensive than the xDrive40. You can have them for a wonderful price, and there's still incentives on these cars too. So if you're looking at an 540 and you're like, you know what, actually I'm thinking about going electric, it's the perfect time to do so. So your monthly payment will be less, you'll receive a lot less, or rather you have to put less down to get these benefits, and if you're leasing the car especially, you still get access to other benefits on top of that, which means that you might be leasing one of these for closer to $700 or $800 a month instead of maybe $1,200 if you're leasing a standard car. Obviously, do not take those numbers at face value. If you really want to know what the number would be for you, go to your local BMW dealer and, you know, ask for the numbers on it. But I practically guarantee across the board you will get a better deal with the xDrive40, xDrive40, or any of the electric versions of the 5 Series than you would with the standard 5. Again, not to discount the actual 540. I love the 540 as a car itself. I do primarily highway driving, so I actually do this in the worst possible scenario for an electric driver. But I also get a lot of traffic, so it actually balances out quite well. And again, factor it in, do a needs assessment for yourself, and if you want to consider it, definitely look at this car if you're thinking the xDrive40, I don't want rear-wheel drive, and I also don't want to go full ham on an M60. This is a fantastic alternative. I am obsessed with this car. I love the 5 Series so much. It has taken the top over the iX as my favorite BMW currently sold in our lineup. So basically, until the Neue Class comes out, this is going to hold the top for me. And with that, that's all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, obviously like, comment, share, subscribe. If you like it, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. But either way, let me know. Let me also see what you want to see in the near future. So I'll put together some more video ideas. I kind of run out as we sit right now, so I apologize. The full-length videos like this are kind of few and far between at the moment. But until the 4 Series LCI comes out, I don't really have much to shoot at the moment until we get some more stuff. But again, thanks so much for your support. And anything you want to see on the channel, let me know. Have a great rest of your day.